What is bothering you, Siha Tooskin? You know us old men can always talk to each other when something is heavy on our hearts or on our minds. He coaxed him with his knowing smile. Paul sat with his head down for a minute as he considered Vitashin's words. After a few minutes, he raised his eyes and admitted, I already met one of the boys on my new street before I came here, Vitashin. When we were moving our stuff into the house the other day, I saw the boy playing ball hockey in front of his garage. He was by himself shooting the ball into a net in his driveway. So when I rode my bike past his house, I waved at him, then stopped to see if he wanted someone else to play ball hockey with. He looked like he was about my age, and I thought maybe he would be in my class at my new school. When Paul looked down at the ground between his shoes, the boy just made a face at me and said he didn't like girls. I told him I'm a boy and my name is Paul. So even so so he would know that he would still play with me even if he only hangs out with boys. He just laughed at me and said, I look like a girl with my braids. Paul looked up sadly at his grandfather. I don't want to go to school with people like that, Vitashin. Vitashin nodded to show that he understood his grandson's feelings, but he was not upset like Paul was. Siha Tooskin, Vitashin was speaking in an usual gentle and caring tone. As strong as Vitashin could be, Paul was always so grateful for the kindness that his voice carried whenever Paul needed it most. You should pity this boy. You should not hide from him or hate him. Paul was surprised at his grandfather's suggestion. I think you should pity him when he made fun. I think I should pity him when he made fun of me and hurt my feelings. He does these things because he doesn't know any better. Siha Tooskin. Vitashin explained, this boy does not understand how to respect other people. You should show him pity and even pray for him. Pray that the people who love him will learn more so that they can teach him to respect himself and others. That is what we have taught you to do, Siha Tooskin. Paul looked down at an ant crawling on a piece of wood beside his foot. Though ants are so tiny, Ade always taught Paul to respect them because they are such hard workers. Ade also had told him that the ants teach us the important lesson that it is not the size of our bodies, but the ability to work together and stay focused on your task that makes us mighty. Vitashin counseled his grandson on the matter. I know that you feel small like the ants sometimes, Siha Tooskin, but you have a huge heart. You have a strong spirit, a strong mind. You are bigger than the small minds and the small words of people who have not been taught well. Paul reflected on what Vitashin was saying, and he knew Vitashin was right. Paul remembered how small he had been when his mom first told him the story of why his hair was long. He thought about how his mom always took extra long time to gently comb his hair when he was telling him stories to teach him the things that are important about life. Ina had stories about humility and wisdom, along with stories about bravery and courage and kindness. And what Bashin and Vitashin had passed along to her. She would tell him about teachings that came from the time before she was born, even before Magushin was born. Paul loved to hear about those days when the grass grew very long and high upon the land. One of the stories was actually about their hair and their braids. Ina talked about how the long, soft grass would blow in the wind and dance from side to side. The long, thick prairie grass. Paul's people a soft place to rest when they set up their teepees and their camps. Ina told Paul how certain selected men would go out and find a good place to camp, and they would weave and sway like the grass itself as they trampled down beneath their moccasins clad feet to make thick, soft mats on the ground so they would set up their homes and lodges. Enoch explained that people would grow their hair long like the prairie grass to remind them to be kind and gentle like the grass. She would tell Paul that his hair would remind him to be that way too. I know that I should be kind to the boy, Paul said, as he looked at Mitashin. But sometimes it's hard to do the right thing when it hurts your feelings. I actually wanted to drop my bike and punch him. But then I remembered what Mom taught me about my hair reminding me to be kind. Mitashin smiled. He was proud of his grandson. I know that these things can be hard when you feel alone, different from other children around you. But what does your mom say to you when she is braiding your hair? Paul responded without hesitation. Enoch tells me that we wear our hair in braids to remind us of our strength. Enoch says hitting someone isn't strength at all. She says that it takes real strength to stay true to our own ways. She says that 3 strands of hair in a braid represent our body, mind, and spirit. She tells me I will grow to be strong if I look after my body, mind, and spirit. It's important to keep them connected as one, like the hair on my braid. Paul grinned at Mitashin. I guess that is why my head hurts sometimes when my braids are really tight. Ina doesn't know her own strength. Mitashin laughed at the thought of his daughters pulling so hard to keep his grandson's braid tight and smooth. He was happy to see that Paul was getting his sense of humor back. He knew that Paul was feeling better about what he had to do when he went home. You see, you are very lucky, Siha Tooskin, Mitashin explained to his grandson. You have many relations who love you and teach you. We treat you with respect so you can learn to treat yourself at all and respect to all people. The braid that you wear reminds you to be strong, to have those strong bonds that hold our families together. Now you see why you must pity the boy you met. You can be thankful for the people in our family and community who teach you to be kind, strong, and respectful. You need to try to understand that this boy does not have, and pray for him so that he can learn respect and caring too.
This is my daddy when he was little with his braids in school.
Yeah, that's your daddy when he was your age. And Rainey, where's your braids?
Where's your braid?
Right there. And Papa
My
and
braid.
Papa and River have ponytails.
Ponytails.
And then Daddy and Phoenix have braids. Yay! Thanks for reading the book with us, everyone.